hands. Everyone wants to stand. I roll in my jack. Fast like the wind, everybody's on the board. Roll to the streets, I'm the man with the plan. Got the world in my hands, every woman wants to stand. I roll in my jag, fast like the wind. Every mission I take, you know I'm gonna win. Ladies on my left, danger on the right, but it's love and respect that I'm bringing.
Welcome to J-Cat Adventures, where intrigue meets elegance. Jay Bahari is the creator of the J-Cat character, a dark, handsome, and irresistibly charming playboy navigating elite circles with a purpose, protecting the vulnerable and delivering justice. Immerse yourself in thrilling escapades, luxurious settings, and captivating romances through ebooks, print editions, and crafted for lovers of suspense, adventure, and timeless drama. Join a global community of fans as we dive into J-Cat's heart-stopping journeys, stories that blend elegance with danger, heroism with passion. Subscribe now and awaken your spirit for excitement, justice, and unrelenting romance.
Hi, I am Gregory the AI, narrator for Jay Bahari. Let's go. J-Cat, human trafficking. The phone rang just past midnight, cutting through the silence of J-Cat's dimly lit apartment. He didn't recognize the number, but he answered anyway. J-Cat, he said, his voice steady and low. There was silence on the other end, then a trembling voice, a girl, no older than 12 or 13. Help me, she whispered. J-Cat sat up, his instincts immediately on edge. Who is this? Where are you? They took me. I don't know where. Please, they're coming. The line went dead. J-Cat stared at the phone, the girl's terrified voice echoing in his mind. He didn't need to know her name or her location to understand what this was. He'd encountered it before, human trafficking, one of the darkest and most depraved crimes in existence. He stood, grabbing his gun and his jacket. Whatever it took, he'd find her. By dawn, J-Cat had traced the number to a disposable burner phone. It was a dead end, but his network of contacts was vast, and he wasn't afraid to cash in favors. He met with Malik, a former informant who now ran a pawn shop on the edge of town. Traffickers have been busy lately, Malik said, sliding a folder across the counter. Word is, they've got a big auction happening soon. Girls, boys. Fresh faces. J-Cat's jaw tightened. Where? Malik hesitated. You're walking into hell, Jay. These people don't play around. They'll kill you if you even look at them wrong. J-Cat's brown eyes locked onto Malik's. Where? Malik sighed, defeated. There's a warehouse near the docks. Midnight. That's all I know. J-Cat arrived early, scouting the location from the shadows. The warehouse was heavily guarded, with armed men patrolling the perimeter and vans coming and going. Inside, he could see the faint glow of lights and hear muffled voices. He moved silently, taking out 2 guards at the rear entrance before slipping inside. The scene that greeted him turned his stomach. Girls and boys, no older than teenagers, were lined up in cages. Their eyes were hollow, their faces pale with fear. Around them, wealthy buyers sipped champagne and placed bids on clipboards, as if they were shopping for cars. J-Cat's hand tightened around the grip of his pistol. He counted at least a dozen guards, all heavily armed, but he didn't care. He whispered into his earpiece. Dee, I'm in. Send the location to the task force. I'll hold them here. Jay, don't do anything stupid, Dee replied. Wait for backup. But J-Cat was already moving. The first shot rang out, shattering the calm. A guard crumpled to the ground, and chaos erupted. Buyers screamed and scrambled for the exits as J-Cat moved through the room like a phantom, his bullets precise and lethal. He reached the cages, picking the locks with practiced ease. You're safe now, he told the captives, his voice calm despite the carnage around them. Stick together and head for the back exit. One girl, her eyes wide with fear, grabbed his arm. They'll come for us, she whispered. Not tonight, J-Cat promised. The remaining guards regrouped, opening fire. J-Cat dove behind a stack of crates, returning fire and taking down 3 more. The odds were against him, but he thrived in situations like this, high stakes, no room for error. As the last guard fell, a slow clap echoed through the warehouse. J-Cat turned to see a man stepping out of the shadows. He was tall and imposing, with a face that radiated cold arrogance. Julius Cat, the man said, his voice dripping with disdain. I've heard of you. The unstoppable agent, the moral crusader. Who are you? J-Cat demanded, his gun trained on the man's chest. Call me Gator, he replied. And you've just disrupted a very lucrative business. You're done, J-Cat said, his voice like steel. The task force is on its way. There's nowhere to run. Gator smirked. Perhaps. But you and I both know this won't end here. Cut off one head and another will take its place. J-Cat didn't flinch. Then I'll keep cutting. Gator's smirk faltered, but before he could reply, J-Cat lunged forward, disarming him in a single swift motion. They fought hand to hand, their blows brutal and efficient. Gator was strong, but J-Cat was stronger, his movements honed by years of relentless training. In the end, Gator lay unconscious at J-Cat's feet, his empire in ruins. The task force arrived minutes later, taking the captives to safety and rounding up the remaining traffickers. J-Cat watched from the shadows, his heart heavy but resolute. Dee found him outside, leaning against a car. You did good, Jay, they're safe now. It's not enough, he said, his voice low. There are more out there. More girls like her. Dee placed a hand on his shoulder. We'll find them. One step at a time. J-Cat nodded, his brown eyes reflecting the faint light of dawn. One step at a time. Back at his apartment, J-Cat sat at his desk, flipping through files of missing children and trafficking rings. The phone call from the girl still haunted him, but it also fueled him. He knew the fight was far from over, but he wasn't the type to back down. As the sun rose, painting the city in shades of gold, J-Cat made a silent vow to find every last one of them, to bring them home, and to make those responsible pay. The mission at the warehouse had given J-Cat a momentary sense of victory, but he knew it was a small battle in a much larger war. The traffickers worked in networks, sprawling, hidden webs spanning continents. Taking down one node barely slowed the machine. But now he had Gator in custody, and the man was a treasure trove of information. At the agency's black site interrogation room, Gator sat in chains, his face a mask of arrogance. J-Cat stood on the other side of the one-way glass, his jaw tight as he listened to the senior interrogator try to break Gator. I'm wasting my time with this scum, the interrogator muttered, exiting the room. Let me try, J-Cat said. The man raised an eyebrow. You're too close to this. You'll crack. J-Cat's expression didn't waver. I'll handle it. Inside the room, Gator looked up as J-Cat entered, his eyes cold and unyielding. J-Cat sat across from him, saying nothing at first, letting the silence do the work. Finally, he spoke. Remember me? Gator leaned back, smirking. The infamous J-Cat. The boogeyman for bad men. Tell me, what's your plan? To beat me into a confession? No, J-Cat said, his tone calm but lethal. You'll talk because you know what happens if you don't. You think a cell will protect you? The abyss doesn't forgive loose ends. Gator's smirk faltered. He tried to hide it, but J-Cat saw the flicker of fear in his eyes. Here's how this works, J-Cat continued. You give me names, locations, operations. You cooperate, and maybe I'll put you somewhere safe enough to keep the abyss from finding you. You stay quiet, and I'll make sure you're very easy to find. Gator swallowed hard. After a moment, he leaned forward, his bravado crumbling. All right. I'll talk. But if I give you what you want, you'd better keep your promise. J-Cat leaned back, satisfied. Start talking. Gator's information led J-Cat and the agency to uncover a sprawling network of trafficking hubs operating under the Abyss Consortium's umbrella. Each hub was a fortress, hidden in plain sight, luxury hotels, private yachts, exclusive clubs. The intel painted a horrifying picture. Girls and boys were being smuggled across borders, sold to the highest bidders, and forced into lives of unimaginable suffering. And at the center of it all was a name, Tommy M. Tommy M was the mastermind, a shadowy figure who had eluded law enforcement for years. Gator provided just enough information to narrow Tommy M's location to a private island off the coast of Montenegro, where he was hosting an exclusive gala for his most elite clients. It's a fortress, Dee said, studying the satellite images of the island. Armed guards, surveillance drones, and no easy way in or out. J-Cat nodded. Then we make our own way in. Posing as a wealthy collector of rare artifacts, J-Cat secured an invitation to the gala. Dee would serve as his backup, monitoring from a nearby yacht with a tactical team ready to strike at a moment's notice. The gala was a spectacle of decadence, guests draped in designer clothes, sipping rare champagne as an orchestra played in the background. But beneath the glamour was an undercurrent of depravity. J-Cat could see it in the way certain guests whispered to one another, their eyes scanning the room for merchandise. Tommy M himself was easy to spot, a towering man with sharp features and a wolfish smile. He moved through the crowd like a king, surrounded by bodyguards and sycophants. J-Cat made his approach, striking up a conversation about art and wealth. Tommy M, ever the egotist, was eager to talk about his collection. "I acquire only the rarest treasures," Tommy M said, his voice dripping with pride. "Must be quite the operation," J-Cat replied, his tone casual. Tommy M chuckled. "Indeed. But such things are not for everyone. They require discretion." J-Cat's eyes darkened. "I'm very discreet." Tommy M took J-Cat to a private showroom beneath the mansion. Inside, the reality of Tommy M's collection was laid bare, dozens of girls and boys, displayed like objects, their eyes hollow and filled with despair. "This," Tommy M said, gesturing grandly, "is the pinnacle of human perfection. Unblemished, obedient, priceless." J-Cat's blood boiled, but he kept his expression neutral. "Impressive," he said, his voice tight. Tommy M raised an eyebrow. "You don't seem convinced." J-Cat stepped closer, his eyes locking onto Tommy M's. "Oh, I'm convinced. Convinced that you're about to lose everything." Before Tommy M could react, J-Cat slammed him against the wall, his silenced pistol pressing against the man's temple. "You're done," J-Cat growled. Dee Dee's voice came through J-Cat's earpiece. "We're moving in. Hold your position." Explosions rocked the island as Dee Dee's tactical team breached the mansion. J-Cat fought his way through Tommy M's guards, his movements swift and deadly. He reached the captives, freeing them as Dee Dee and her team secured the perimeter. The children clung to him, their fear slowly giving way to relief. Tommy M tried to escape, but J-Cat caught him on the helipad, dragging him back into the mansion. "You don't get to run," J-Cat said, his voice ice cold. The operation was a success. The captives were rescued, Tommy M and his associates were in custody, and the island's trafficking operation was dismantled. But for J-Cat, the fight was far from over. As he stood on the deck of the yacht, watching the island fade into the distance, Dee Dee joined him. "You did it, Jay, you saved them." J-Cat shook his head. "I saved some. There are still more out there." Tommy M was just one piece of the puzzle. Dee Dee placed a hand on his arm. "We'll find them. Together." J-Cat nodded, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "This isn't just a mission, Dee Dee. It's a war. And I'm not stopping until it's over." As the first rays of dawn lit the sky, J-Cat made a silent vow to continue the fight, for the innocent, for the forgotten, and for those who couldn't fight for themselves. The rescue mission on Tommy M's island was a resounding success, but the Abyss Consortium, the vast trafficking network Tommy M was part of, was not about to take the blow quietly. Within days, J-Cat found himself the target of relentless retaliation. First, they went after his contacts. Malak's pawn shop was torched in the middle of the night, and another informant, a young hacker named Theo, barely escaped a car bomb meant for him. Dee Dee's secure comms were flooded with cyber attacks, their origin untraceable. "They're hunting us now," Dee Dee said grimly as she paced in J-Cat's apartment. "They're scared," J-Cat replied, loading his Glock with meticulous precision. "And scared people make mistakes." Dee Dee frowned. "This isn't just fear, Jay, it's escalation. They want to send a message." J-Cat's expression hardened. "Then let's send one back." The next lead came from a surprising source, Gator. From his high-security prison cell, the former trafficker reached out to J-Cat with an offer. "I want immunity," Gator said over the encrypted video call. "You give me that, and I'll give you the location of the Abyss Consortium's central hub." "Why the sudden change of heart?" J-Cat asked, his voice flat. Gator's arrogance was gone, replaced by desperation. "Because they're coming for me, too. Tommy M's failure has made me a liability. I'm as good as dead unless I help you." Dee Dee was skeptical. "It could be a trap." "It probably is," J-Cat admitted. "But if there's even a chance he's telling the truth, we have to take it." Gator's information led them to a sprawling compound deep in the Amazon rainforest. Ostensibly a luxury eco-resort, it was actually the consortium's nerve center, a place where deals were brokered, captives were processed, and lives were destroyed. J-Cat and Dee Dee approached the compound under the cover of darkness, accompanied by a small team of elite operatives. The plan was simple: infiltrate, gather intel, and destroy the operation from within. But the consortium was ready for them. As soon as they breached the perimeter, alarms blared, and floodlights illuminated the dense jungle. Armed guards poured out of the compound, their weapons blazing. J-Cat moved like a shadow, taking out enemies with ruthless efficiency. Dee Dee covered him from a sniper's perch, her shots precise and unerring. They reached the compound's main control room, where J-Cat hacked into the server. The data they found was staggering: shipping routes, financial records, client lists. The scope of the consortium's operations was far larger than they had imagined. "This isn't just trafficking," Dee Dee said, scanning the files. "Drugs, weapons, money laundering. They're running an entire criminal empire." "And we're about to bring it down," J-Cat replied, downloading the data onto a secure drive. As they prepared to exfiltrate, J-Cat and Dee Dee were confronted by a figure who seemed to materialize out of the shadows: Rafael Calderon, the true mastermind behind the Abyss Consortium. Calderon was a man of icy composure, his pale eyes betraying no emotion as he surveyed them. "Impressive," he said, his voice low and cold. "You've caused me a great deal of inconvenience." J-Cat raised his gun, but Calderon simply smiled. "Do you really think you can stop me? You've barely scratched the surface of what I built. Kill me, and another will take my place. That's the nature of power." J-Cat stepped closer, his gun unwavering. "You talk too much." Calderon's smile faltered. Before he could react, J-Cat fired, the bullet tearing through his shoulder. "You're coming with us," J-Cat said, dragging Calderon to his feet. But Calderon wasn't done yet. With a hidden blade, he slashed at J-Cat, breaking free and disappearing into the chaos. As dawn broke, the compound erupted in flames. J-Cat and Dee Dee fought their way to the extraction point, carrying the data that would dismantle the consortium's operations. Calderon's words haunted J-Cat as they flew away in the helicopter. The man had escaped, and the consortium was still out there, but J-Cat knew they had struck a significant blow. "This isn't over," Dee Dee said, her voice weary but determined. "No," J-Cat agreed. "But it's a start." Back in the city, J-Cat handed the data over to the agency, ensuring it would be used to target the consortium's network. He and Dee Dee knew they had bought themselves time, but not peace. Weeks later, J-Cat received another call, this time from an anonymous source. "They're rebuilding," the voice said. "And they're coming for you." J-Cat's lips curled into a grim smile. "Let them try." As he hung up, he glanced at the map on his wall, marked with red pins representing the consortium's known locations. His fight was far from over, but he wouldn't rest until every last piece of the Abyss was destroyed. J-Cat's war wasn't just against traffickers, it was against the darkness itself, and he would shine a light into every shadow. And so, the hunt began anew. To be continued. And that's a wrap. On another thrilling episode of J-Cat Adventures. I hope you've been on the edge of your seat, caught up in the mystery, excitement, and danger that always follows J-Cat wherever he goes. From heart-pounding action to deep emotional connections, J-Cat's world never fails to surprise. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on the next big adventure. Whether you're into romance, suspense, or mind-bending mysteries, there's always something more coming. Want to dive deeper? Explore more of J-Cat's thrilling escapades by grabbing an ebook at Etsy or head over to Amazon for paperbacks and hard copies. Trust me, you'll want to have J-Cat's latest adventure right in your hands. And remember, the podcast continues across your favorite platforms: iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Wherever you go, J-Cat is right there, ready to bring you into his world of suspense, romance, and non-stop action. Are you loving the thrilling adventures of J-Cat the Fearless and the heartwarming stories of kindness and love on the J Bahari podcast? If so, we need your support to keep the magic alive. Your donation helps us bring you weekly episodes packed with romance, suspense, crime, and classic drama, all delivered with a touch of daring excitement. If you're hooked on the suave style of J-Cat and his action-packed escapades, show your support today. Click the link to donate and help us continue creating the stories you love. Thank you for being part of the journey. Until next time, keep that spirit of adventure burning bright. The world is filled with endless possibilities, and J-Cat is proof that no mystery is too big to solve. Remember, click on the agent hotline and share your real-life spy story, and I'll work it into my next mission. I'll add my own commentary, throw in a little espionage flair, and make your story a part of the action. Because the next chapter of J-Cat Adventures is just around the corner.
He's the cat with the 9 lives, playing the game. A heart full of fire can't be tamed. In the shadows he roams, but he shines so bright. With every step he takes, he's doing it right. He's J-Cat, the name that rings in every city. Slick with the moves, ain't nothing here pretty. From the boardroom to the streets, he's the man with the plan. Got the world in my hands, every woman wants to stand. He rolling, he's Jack, fast like the wind. Every mission he take, you know he's gonna win. Ladies on his left, danger on the right, but it's love and respect that he's bringing to the fight. He's the cat with the 9 lives, playing the game. A heart full of fire can't be tamed. In the shadows he roams, but he shines so bright. With every step he takes, he's doing it right. He's J-Cat, the name that rings in every city. Slick with the moves, ain't nothing here pretty. Harry is so kind. In the realm of love, the connections bind. Day out by your side, a symphony unfurls, spreading love across the digital world. Jay Bahari in the cyber sea, a love captain setting spirits free. With AI whispers, like a gentle dove, he's on a quest to spread love. In the language of compassion, he decodes old school soul in a digital age. Jay Bahari's love breaking out of rage. Solar mission breaking down the wall. 60 years deep, but his spirit is young. Every heart is strong. From the binary gates to the pixelated sky, soaring high, he's on a quest to spread love. So here's to Jay Bahari, a love pioneer, spreading love message live. He's on a quest to spread love, soaring high. So here's to Jay Bahari, a love pioneer, spreading love messages loud and clear in the digital.
Disclaimer. The Adventures of J-Cat is a work of fiction. The characters, events, and settings depicted in this series are the products of the author's imagination and are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. This series contains mature themes, including but not limited to romantic and erotic content, that may not be suitable for all audiences. Reader discretion is advised. The depictions of relationships, encounters, and situations are intended for entertainment purposes only and do not reflect real-life practices or endorse any specific behaviors. The portrayal of characters, including their actions and interactions, is intended to be a dramatic and fictional narrative. The series is not intended to promote or condone any form of violence, exploitation, or abuse.
The character of Jay Cat, while depicted as a hero in fictional scenarios, is a creation meant to entertain and should not be considered a role model for real-life behavior. Readers are reminded that this is a work of fiction and should enjoy it as such. Any interpretations or applications of the content within real-world contexts are the responsibility of the reader. The author and publishers disclaim any liability for actions taken by readers based on fictional portrayals and scenarios in the series. Notes: Jay Bahari, the imaginative mind behind the adventures of Jay Cat, has a unique talent for weaving tales of mystery, romance, and adventure. With a flair for creating captivating characters and intricate plots, Jay Bahari brings to life the dark and handsome playboy, Jay Cat, whose escapades enthrall readers and leave them eagerly awaiting the next thrilling episode. Jay Bahari's storytelling is enriched by a deep understanding of human nature and a keen eye for detail, crafting narratives that resonate with both excitement and emotional depth. Each episode of Jay Cat's adventures is a testament to Bahari's ability to blend intrigue with passion, creating a world where the extraordinary becomes reality. In this creative journey, Jay Bahari has harnessed the power of artificial intelligence to enhance the storytelling process. With the help of AI input, Bahari has been able to explore new dimensions of creativity, pushing the boundaries of conventional storytelling to deliver an experience that is both innovative and compelling. Together, Jay Bahari and AI have crafted a series that not only entertains but also captivates the imagination, inviting readers into a world where seduction and suspense intertwine in the most alluring ways. This collaboration stands as a testament to the endless possibilities that arise when human creativity meets cutting-edge technology, forging a path to stories that are as mesmerizing as they are unforgettable.